Call Allah Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem HaKakodash. This is Malak Maganya from GMS Toronto 2, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai. I want to say also double honors to the apostles and elders who rule and teach well in spirit and in truth, and to the men and women who are pushing in a time of prophecy being fulfilled before our eyes. Yes, as you can clearly see here, the sign of doom, right? It is a sign of doom, right? I've never seen anything like this, only in the movies, but this is real, right? If you know anything about crows, right? Crows, it is said that they do eat human flesh, but only on specific situations. So if the Lord put a spirit on that crow to eat flesh, the crow has no other choice but to do it, right? So I'm just saying, sign of doom, and simply put, the Lord has control over these crows regardless, right? Just to show what is going on symbolically and what is going to happen, right? In terms of destruction, right? Doom. Go look up those words, man. All right. So I'm going to show you from scripture signs of doom, and also scripture that has to do with fowls that's going to bring destruction under the Lord's command, right? So with no further ado, I'm going to try to make this video real simple. Because, again, I just wanted to show an illustration of fowls, fowls that's going to do the Lord's bidding in regard to being a scavenger at the right time. But with no further ado, let's get into it. Revelation 15:1. So I'm going to show you the deliverance, who's going to be delivered from these dooms and destruction. It's only the elect that's going to be delivered. So the chapter I'm going to read for you, I'm going to read 3 verses from there. Simply put, just showing you who's going to be delivered, right? They're going to receive the Thawa. They're going to receive a mark, right? So there's going to be two. The Lord has 2 marks, one on the left and one on the right. So the mark of disobedience on the left, right? And then the Thawa on the right, so to speak, for you to simply understand what I'm going to say. So let's get into it. So the chapter before this, Revelation 14, speaks about the 144,000 and the elect, namely the 144 that follow the Lamb wheresoever he goeth, the governing body, right? And how they're going to be delivered. And this is the rest. This is a chapter that goes into their deliverance along with the rest of the elect, right? The elect that the Lord remain, that will go through the doom, right? And where they are. And also the elect that was dead. He rose them up and deliver them. So let's get into it. So it says here, and I saw another sign in heaven, marvelous event of great significance. I'm going to read from the NLT today. All right? 7 angels holding the 7 last plagues, which would bring the Most High's wrath, right, to completion. So when this is happening, the elect is already delivered, okay? And I'm going to show you, right? They're going to be delivered just before this thing happens. You're talking about the ultimate battle of World War III, right? Where these people find out that they're fighting against the Most High, and that was the Lord who set it up. Okay, so verse 2, Revelation 15:2. I'll read this verse from the regular King James. Right? So it says, verse 2, and I saw, as if it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps, you see? So they're delivered simultaneously when the arrows, the nukes go off. Okay? They're delivered simultaneously. And they're going to be watching the destruction, okay, of this great doom that's coming to not only this place that you see the image on, okay, with these crows, but America as well. Okay? So you see, they're delivered. right? And here are the requirements. All right. Well, actually, the requirements are there. I just read the requirements, but this is how they're praising the Most High for their deliverance, the elect. All right. So it says, verse 3, and they sang the song of Moses, the servant of our power, Yahweh, and the song of the Lamb, you see, saying, great and marvelous are thy works, Lord power almighty. Just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints, you see. So yes, the Lamb is to be worshipped, right? The Father says so, okay? Is to be worshipped with the Father, right? When you see him, when you see the Lamb, you see the Father, right? Yahweh Shai, right? Whom the world mistakenly attribute the name Jesus Christ to, but Jesus Christ is a different animal. Okay, that's not who this is speaking about. This is Yahweh Shai here. I just want to be clear with that. Okay, and definitely now let's jump. I'm going to jump all the way to the 18th chapter. All right, 18th chapter, just to show you again, right? So when you go to the 16th chapter, it gives you a lot of conditions in regards to the state of the people before their destruction, right? Some of them are going to receive sores, all different kind of marks for their disobedience, because they have the wrong mark in their body. They have the mark of the beast, the mark of disobedience. Okay, so let's go to the 18th chapter here, and I'm going to read 3 verses again from here, showing you that the saints are delivered and what remains. Okay, the saints are delivered. I just read that for you. Okay, so this is more event in regards to what is remaining after who is delivered. Revelation 18:1. Okay, so it says, and after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having the great power, and the earth was enlightened with his glory. See? Just think of it, deliverance, right? The deliverance, verse 2, Revelation 18:2. So it says, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, you see, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and cage of every unclean and hateful bird. You see, so that's the spirits after they're destroyed. This is the spirit that's left. Right? It's uninhabitable. That's what the Lord is saying. Let me read it for you in the NLT. Okay, let me read it for you. It says, Revelation 18:2, NLT, it says, he gave a mighty shout, Babylon is fallen, the great city is fallen. Right? Take another listen. Yeah. It's fallen. She has become the home of demons. She's a hideout for every foul spirit. Okay? A hideout for every vulture. Every foul vulture. And every foul, dreadful animal. Okay? So the spirits that are there, man, nothing can live there, man. Nothing can be there because the Lord condemned this place. Right? So this is what's happening. Right? Whether you receive it or not. That's the omen that's coming. Okay, this is what this chapter reveals. So let's go to verse 3 to tie it in before I finish off in the 19th chapter, right? I'm going into the fowls. Okay, this is Revelation 18:3. So it says, for all the nations have fallen because of the wine of her passionate immorality, right? All the principles and everything, they bought into it. All these nations bought into the democracy, the fake democracy, and they've seen it and how it's ruined them. And they've adopted it, but they want their own version, and they realize that there's no way that they could get out of what they're doing, because their systems, right? All the nations, their systems is just a mess. They found out that they're morally, spiritually, intellectually, they're bankrupt in every way because of that democracy. Let me read it again for you, right? It says, for all the nations have fallen because of the wine of passionate immorality. So you can look that up, right? The kings of the world have committed adultery with her because of her desires of or extravagant luxury, excess, right? And that's on all levels. With the food, the fake food, the real, all kinds of nonsense. Fake food, this, that, homosexuality, immorality on all levels. All the nations have gone into it. They tried it and they realized that it's not doing any better, right? Year after year after year, right? And then it says the merchants of the world have grown rich. They became rich off of this, okay? So yes, it's an omen, right? And you see here on this video, simply put, I'm not going to get into detail about this country here and the people who run it, okay, and the special privileges that they have in excess, right? Because of their desire for exuberant and excess, okay? In everything they do, it's in excess, okay? Excess in whether it's holding back money or giving the wrong people too much, okay? So yes, I'm going to go to the 19th chapter to end this because I did promise that, I wanted to just show the omen, a literal thing, but I did touch on it in Revelation 18 there and Revelation 15 in regards to, the vultures and the spirits, Revelation 18:3, that is inhabiting America, right? And here we see in the video, real quick, the doom, the omen. So let's finish off. Okay, so this is I'm going to go to the 19th chapter. Okay, I'm going to start from verse 20, right? And I'm going to just read to 21. It's 2 verses, but for a little bit of context, let me just give it to you this way. Revelation 19:19. Then I saw the beast and the kings of the earth, kings of the world. I'm going to read from the NLT. Then I saw the beast and the kings of the world and their armies gathered together to fight against the one sitting on the horse, right? And this horse here, it's symbolic of a chariot, which is called faithful and true. Well, I'm calling it faithful. The Bible calls it faithful. It says faithful. Right? Of course, the Lord has a different name for it, but the point is that's a sonship, okay? Because it's going to be seen, right? But that's what I said. The great war at the end, man. Right? So all the proxy wars that we're seeing now, those are just rehearsals, and they're smoky. It's not the full import, because for the real war to happen, as I read to you in the 15th chapter, the elect has to be out of here, no doubt about it. Nobody's going to be reading from a tower and telling you what's going on. The prophets are not going to be reading for you or showing you anything. They're going to be delivered with bird's eye view and watching the destruction. Okay. That's Revelation 15:1, Revelation 15:2, and Revelation 15:3 goes into that. All right. So let me read on, and it says, "And the beast," reading from the NLT, "and the beast was captured," right, with this false prophet who did mighty miracles on the behalf of the beast, and miracles that deceived all who had accepted the mark of disobedience, the mark of the beast, and who worshiped his statue, okay, his image, or heavy into his philosophy. So there's no way around this. You do not want to worship the beast, but you might believe in all of his principles. So you're actually, you're doomed either way. And it says, going on, it says, both the beast and his false prophet were thrown alive in the fiery lake of fire, right? The missiles, the nuclear missiles, okay, will destroy them, right? A lot of people teach that missiles don't exist and nukes don't exist. those people will be burnt up in it too as well, right? All those people who teach that there's no missiles, that it's just fire bombs. And finishing it off, here's the point. Revelation 19:21, their entire army was killed by the sharp sword. You see, the nukes, symbolic again, that came from the mouth of the riding white horse. All right, so the Lord's going to finish them off. That's the point I wanted to make, actually. The sharp sword is the laser beam that come, for lack of better words, the lasers that come out of the chariot to finish up the work. But the elect is going to be viewing that, having a bird's eye view, standing on the sea of glass. So let me read that again. Their entire army was killed by the sharp sword that came from the mouth of him riding the white horse. And the vultures all gorged themselves on the dead bodies. Omen nomen. Right? So you can't say you weren't warned of what is to come. All right? So yes, I'm going to shut it down there, but I just wanted to show you. Okay? As a matter of fact, before I close, I'm going to read it for you in the in the regular KJV so you can hear it that way. And it says, the remnant were slain, the rest of them, with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh. See that? The destruction, right? The finality. The power from the ship, okay, from the chariot, finishes up everything. The Lord comes in and cleans it up, reaps the harvest, okay, so to speak. He puts his grand entrance in. All right, so Lord willing, this video was edifying. All right, so with that, on to the next one. All praises, honor, and glory be unto Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And like I said, Lord willing, hopefully it was edifying in regards to the fowls are filled with their flesh, right? Looking at the omen.